Monday morning came very quietly. Aria walked through wet streets. Her breath made small clouds. London was grey and cold. But she walked quite fast. She told herself it was nothing. Just another ordinary working day. Just cleaning and quiet silence. Just 5 words at most. Nothing more than that ever. But her feet walked faster than they ever had before. She reached the iron gate. Pressed the bell without hesitating. The gate opened very slowly. James met her at door. "Good morning, Miss Collins," he said. "Good morning, James," she replied. He looked at her carefully. Something knowing in his eyes. She looked away quite quickly. Hung her coat on hook. Tied her hair back neatly. Picked up her cleaning caddy. And climbed the stairs alone. The study door was open. That was new and different. It had always been closed. Every single morning until today. She stopped outside and listened. Silence from inside the room. She knocked very softly once. No answer came back out. She stepped inside very carefully. The room was completely empty. But something was different today. On the corner of desk. A fresh cup of tea. Still steaming in the morning light. And beside it a note. She picked it up slowly. 4 words written in black. Strong handwriting, clean and firm. "Yours is on counter." Nothing else, just that only. She stood completely still there. Read the 4 words again. Then walked downstairs to kitchen. On the counter sat waiting. 1 perfect cup of tea. English breakfast, strong little milk. No sugar at all ever. Exactly how she took hers. She had never told anyone. He had simply paid attention. She sat on the stool. Held the warm cup carefully. Stared at it for seconds. Something warm moved through her chest. Something she could not name. "Stop it, Aria," she whispered. "It is just tea only. People make tea for people. It means absolutely nothing special." She drank it very slowly. It was perfect, of course. Completely and quietly perfect always. And that was the problem. That was exactly the problem. Everything about him was perfect. She cleaned the study carefully. Every shelf, every surface, every corner. She moved with quiet efficiency. Touching nothing on his desk. Leaving everything exactly as found. She was almost finished leaving. When she noticed the bookshelf. 3rd shelf from the very top. 1 book was placed wrongly. Spine facing inward, not outward. She reached up very slowly. Pulled the book out carefully. It was old and worn. Dark green leather cover, cracked. Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. She smiled very softly alone. Turned it the right way. Placed it back very carefully. Picked up her caddy quietly. And walked toward the door. "She is leaving," he said. She spun around very fast. Alexander stood in the doorway. Arms crossed, watching her calmly. She had not heard him. "I fixed your book, sir." "Which one?" he asked quietly. "Wuthering Heights," she said softly. It was facing the wrong way. "Did it bother you?" she asked. He looked at the shelf. Then looked back at her. "It has been like that. For almost 3 full years. Nobody ever noticed before you." She did not know what to do with that information. So she simply said nothing. Nodded once and walked past. His eyes followed her out. That afternoon Victoria came home. Earlier than usual by far. Aria was in the hallway. Polishing the large antique mirror. When the front door opened. Victoria walked in with someone. A man in expensive suit. Tall, fair, laughing very loudly. They were talking about dinner. About some restaurant in Mayfair. Victoria saw Aria immediately there. "Give us some privacy, please." "Yes, Mrs. Blackwood," Aria said. She picked her things up. Walked quietly to the kitchen. Through the kitchen door she heard laughter and easy conversation flowing. The kind between old friends. Or something more than friends. She told herself not to think. James appeared beside her quietly. His expression was carefully neutral. He began making afternoon tea. Aria helped him without asking. They worked in quiet silence. "Who is that man, James?" "Mr. Edward Hartley," he said. "Old family friend," he added. His voice said nothing more. But his eyes said everything. Aria nodded and said nothing. Carried the tea tray out. Set it on the table. Victoria and Edward barely noticed her. She walked back to kitchen. Alexander came downstairs at 4. He stopped in the hallway. Heard the laughter from drawing room. His jaw tightened almost invisibly. His eyes went very still. Then he turned very quietly. Walked back upstairs to study. Did not go in there. Did not say one word. The door closed behind him. Aria saw all of this. From the top of staircase. She was replacing hallway light bulbs. She watched him walk away. Her chest hurt for him. Stop it, she told herself. It is not your business. Their marriage is not yours. His pain is not yours. You are here to work. But she watched the door. The closed dark study door. Light visible underneath it barely. Him alone inside again always. And the hurt did not stop. At 5:30 she left. She passed the study door. She stopped and stood there. For 10 full quiet seconds. Her hand raised to knock. Then she lowered it again. Picked up her bag quietly. Walked down the stairs alone. James was at the bottom. He looked at her face. He is fine, Miss Collins. He has always been fine. He says it every time. She looked at James carefully. Is he? She asked softly. James was quiet for a moment. He straightened his jacket slowly. He will be, he said. Someday he will be fine. Then he opened the door. She walked out into cold. The evening was dark already. London hummed and glittered quietly. She walked to the bus. Thinking about closed dark doors. Tuesday passed and Wednesday passed. Each morning the same ritual. Tea waiting on the counter. No note this time though. Just the tea perfectly made. She stopped questioning it now. She simply drank it quietly. And left his study spotless. And fixed whatever small things needed quiet fixing every day. A loose curtain hook replaced. A burned out desk lamp. Fresh flowers in the hallway. Small things nobody asked for. Things she simply noticed needed doing. On Thursday he noticed it. He came into the hallway. Stopped and looked at flowers. White tulips in blue vase. Standing quietly on the side table. He turned and found her. She was on the stairs. Did you do this? He asked. The flowers, she said yes. The old ones were dying. He looked at the tulips. Then looked up at her. Victoria hates flowers in hallway. Says they make her sneeze. Oh, Aria said very quietly. I will remove them, sir. She started coming back downstairs. Leave them, he said simply. She stopped on the stair. He was already walking away. Leave them, he had said. 2 small and quiet words. She stood on the stair. Heart beating very fast again. Doing that complicated warm thing. Friday evening she was leaving. Rain had started again outside. She was searching her bag. For her small travel umbrella. It was not there anywhere. She checked again more carefully. No umbrella nowhere at all. She must have left it at home that very morning. She sighed and stepped outside. The rain was quite heavy. She pulled her coat tighter. Started walking toward the gate. She had gone 3 steps. When she heard him behind. Aria, he called her name. She turned around very slowly. Alexander stood in the doorway. Holding a large black umbrella. The rain falling around him. You will get completely soaked. Take this, he said quietly. So I cannot take that. Yes you can, he said. His voice left no argument. She walked back toward him. He stepped forward at same time. They met in the middle. He held the umbrella over her. Rain drumming on black fabric above. They were standing very close. Closer than they had been. She could see his eyes. Up close they were not. Simply grey, they were complicated. Dark and deep and tired. And something else underneath that. Something warm that surprised her. Something he was not hiding. Not quite completely, not tonight. Thank you, sir, she said. Her voice came out soft. Almost a whisper in the rain. He looked at her face. For one long quiet moment. Get home safely, he said. Again those same 3 words. But this time they sounded different, somehow deeper, somehow more like a small and real prayer. She took the umbrella carefully. Her fingers briefly touched his. 1 second, 1 heartbeat, 1 breath. Then she turned and walked into the wet dark evening. She sat on the bus. His umbrella across her lap. Black and large and smelling. Faintly of cedar and him. She stared out the window. This is dangerous, she thought. This feeling is very dangerous. He is married to Victoria. He is your employer always. You need this job desperately. Danny needs his medicine monthly. Your mother needs her rent. You cannot feel this thing. You cannot let it grow. You have to stop this. She gripped the umbrella tighter. Pressed her forehead against glass. Closed her eyes very firmly. Breathed in and then out. In and out and in. But cedar and rain and him. Filled her senses completely quietly. And no amount of breathing. No amount of firm thinking. Could make it go away. That same Friday night across London. Alexander sat in his study. Midnight oil burning as always. Papers untouched in front of him. Cold tea forgotten beside him. He was staring at his hand. At the place on fingers. Where her hand had briefly touched. 1 second, 1 heartbeat, 1 breath. He turned his hand over slowly. From downstairs came Victoria's laughter. Sharp and bright and distant. Edward had stayed for dinner. As he did most Fridays. Alexander had not gone downstairs. He looked at the bookshelf. At the green spine of Wuthering Heights. Turned correctly, facing properly outward. 3 years facing the wrong way. Nobody had noticed for 3 years. She had noticed in 10 minutes. She noticed everything he realized. The tea, how he took it. The books and the flowers. The burned lamp, the loose curtain. She noticed him. And nobody had done that. For a very long time. For so long he had forgotten. What it felt like being seen. He pressed his hand slowly. Against his mouth again quietly. The same gesture as before. A habit he had lately. A new habit since her arrival. Outside the rain kept falling. Somewhere across this wet city. A girl was on a bus. Holding his black umbrella tightly. Getting home safely, he hoped. He hoped very quietly tonight. More than he had hoped. Anything in a very long time. And that small warm hoping. Frightened him more than everything.